Welcome. We have behind me a work of art, one that most people would prefer not to have. What's wrong with this tree? This tree is completely overgrown. It has proliferation of small twiggy branches everywhere, and it has a lot of bigger branches that are crossing over, twisting around each other, and are generally too crowded. How did it get this way? I think the main reason is that lack of attention and the genetics of the tree. Crab apples are prone to poor branching and poor growth structure. This is an older tree. It hasn't been selected like the newer ones are. Plus, it's been poorly pruned. If you look up there, you can see very abrupt cut-off ends where somebody made a heading cut or a shearing cut right between two branches or two buds such that the tree was not able to grow. So all the buds behind that cut broke and grew, and you have a competitive mess. Now, if we let the Darwinian struggle take place, this whole tree would eventually die, but we don't want that to happen because it has very nice blooms. What else is wrong with it? It has a lot of fruit, and that fruit in the fall falls on my car and on the driveway and gets tracked in the house, so it's not fun. So what are we going to do about this tree? Let me count the ways. One, we want to get rid of the smallest stuff, the stuff that simply we can't see the overall structure, so we can see what are the major cuts we have to make. So I want to take out some of the real tiny branches that obscure the whole picture, kind of like a haze. And then after that, then I want to go in and decide what are the major cuts I make. I don't want to make a lot of diddling cuts on branches that later on I decide that I need to take off. So I want to clear out the small stuff first, then come in and make the major cuts afterwards. So what do we have now? Still a mess, but you can do a little bit more about it. Now that I've cleaned out the small stuff, I can see what major cuts I can make to open this up a little bit more. And I want to emphasize why we're opening it up. One, to reduce the number of fruiting branches on this. And two, the amount of twigs and branches here that are too close together reduces the amount of sunlight coming into the tree. And so it reduces the amount of photosynthesis going to the branches. There's too little of a good thing to go around to all the branches. So if we cut off the branches that are too crowded, we use the light more effectively for the ones that remain. So what am I going to take out? This one right here goes and cuts through these other branches. So if I take this off, I'll probably be a lot better off. And notice I'm always want to cut close to the main branch. I want to make a thinning cut here, but not too close. I don't want to make a flush cut. I don't want to make it too far out such that I leave a stub. So this is pretty good and it's pretty close. Okay, I've made a few cuts. I've opened this up some. There's more light coming through, and there's fewer branches that are going to be carrying fruit that will drop all winter long. So I've improved it from that standpoint. Am I done? No, no. There's the whole rest of the tree that needs to be done. And even then, once I prune it, I may need to go back and look and see if there's some other cuts. It's kind of like a work of art in a way. It's an iterative process where you make some major cuts, you clean things up and go back and look at and assess the whole tree and decide, are there other things to do? For example, this mess right up here, okay, this was a result of a lot of poor pruning practices in the past. And it's very difficult to try and correct those. And I've made a lot of extra cuts and wounds that I really wouldn't like. And maybe when I get done with the rest of the tree, I want to just cut it off here. I won't know until I prune the rest of the tree. One other thing I want to emphasize is that don't ever prune with aluminum ladder next to power lines. Your career may be rather shortened by doing that.